You are listening to the Keenan Vision Podcast, produced by Salesforce DevOps.net. This is episode 7, broadcast Friday, April 29th, 2022. Salesforce TrailblazerDX 2022 and DevOps Center launched again. Vern's report from the show. Hey everybody, it's Vern Keenan here from Salesforce DevOps.net in Oakland, California. And it is Friday, April 29th, 2022. And this week we had the Salesforce TrailblazerDX 2022 conference in San Francisco. And I had the honor of attending as a guest of Salesforce. And I'm here to talk about it, talk about the news and everything that happened there, and to talk mainly about Salesforce DevOps Center, which has been announced again to be coming out this summer in a few months. So let's commit. Okay, so I drove into the city. It was a beautiful day. We've had beautiful weather here in Northern California. I love seeing that Salesforce Tower when I go through here, and it's Moscone Center is up and running. And the day before the conference, I had the honor of being part of a press conference with Salesforce, where I could ask questions of Parker, Harris, and the rest of the executives, and they presented the new Slack and other enhancements that they've put on the platform. So let's go over those quickly. The big thing in Slack is that they're adding deeper levels of integration, essentially with Apex and other types of programmatic integrations that are able to surface objects from Salesforce, your custom objects, directly into Slack better. Some of these screenshots, I don't know what's going on, but apparently here we're surfacing some Salesforce data within Slack. They have used these tools now to create Slack for sales teams, Slack for service, and Slack for marketing clouds. So I'm running some of the demo video that they gave us on that stuff. So that's interesting. I think basically this was from the other press coverage I saw on the conference. This was the primary focus in terms of Salesforce perhaps actually delivering somewhat on integrating the Slack cloud into the Force.com world of Salesforce. So I guess that's interesting. That's cool. Now, there was also quite a bit of announcements in the area of, let's see, we have, Anypoint. So MuleSoft had quite a bit of Anypoint announcements, the primary one being that I believe they're ditching the somewhat clunky desktop composer interface for a VS Code-based interface running on the cloud. So that's kind of all the information I have, but it sounds similar to the code builder strategy that they're doing over on Force.com. So that's interesting. Also, there was talk of Tableau, where Tableau has the ability to embed analyses and metrics and intelligence directly into web applications, and I believe that's what they're showing here. And there was also a few announcements in the Trailblazer Community space, where they've added, you know how everybody says they're like 1X Ranger, 5X Ranger? Well, now you can officially be that on your Trailhead badges, which for me is terrible because I'm only a 1X Ranger now, so crap. So there you go. And they also want to make your trailblazer.me page kind of like your Salesforce, your authoritative Salesforce resume. So they're trying to push that. Next, I want to cover DevOps Center, and I've got Ian Gotts gave me some slides, the actual slides they used for that event. There was one side stage presentation about Salesforce DevOps Center that was quite good, and I attended that and some other ones that were in the campground and other areas. The ones in the campground are kind of weird. They actually weren't very good, I'll be honest, because it's hard to absorb information in those environments. So I guess we were lucky to have a side stage at all. And Karen Fidock was there, and I had a chance to interview her on the Tuesday before the show, and she was kind enough to give me some of her time, and you probably saw the article that I published on the site. So we went through the presentation here, which I'm now flipping through in the video here, and you can see it's a lot of the same stuff we've seen before. Essentially, it is a graphical way to manage releases through a selective number of environments. And the trick that it has is the ability to automatically detect changes in an org, including those applied through SFDX CLI. So if you're using that SFDX CLI to work on Scratch orgs, not Scratch orgs, but excuse me, your sandboxes, as long as you're using a sandbox, DevOps Center will automatically detect any changes in that environment. So that's very interesting, and it's a very good release mechanism for that. It's very admin focused. I'd say it's going to be fitting into the whole Trailblazer education community world and how that operates. So I think that is to be aware of. It's a low-code tool that fits into the whole admin mindset. It has an open architecture, which is very interesting, and why Ian Gotts and the Elements gang are very excited about this project, because one thing that the DevOps Center is very light on currently is application lifecycle management functions, which is a broad term that covers things like basic planning and maybe going as deep as to have business stories and to have your business analysis and everything all linked together into the changes in which you're putting into the Salesforce system. So that is a very poor description of what Elements Cloud allows you to do, is to get your business processes closer to your Salesforce change management processes. And they believe that there's a thing in DevOps Center called work item that they can link their Kanban boards and very kind of common type of work flow system up to DevOps Center. So DevOps Center can do a lot of the actual release management, while Elements Cloud is still doing all the smarts, basically, of project management, making sure you build the right thing. So that's interesting. If you're not using Elements, you're going to want to use something that does project management, and that's Jira most frequently. And currently, DevOps Center does not support it, although Karen did tell me it's on the horizon. So it's definitely as part of their plans. So she told me about some other plans, which are to expand Git beyond GitHub only. GitHub Cloud only is the current limitation. There are no other cloud-based Git systems or internal Git-based systems available for that. And another thing that they're going to do in the long term is create a command server that I call the CI/CD engine. I call that the command server. So they're going to have scripting and a scripted command server. So you should be able to add things like end-to-end testing, developer cybersecurity, and other kind of DevOps pipeline things into DevOps Center eventually. But at this time, Salesforce DevOps Center is a release management tool, and it's aiming to get rid of change sets. So that's a lot of pressure on this, honestly, on this project. It's been around for a while, and I've talked to Karen, and I asked her about the fact that it's taken so long, and she assures me that it's going to be available for public beta in July, and that we're going to see it in GA before the end of the year, is the official word. So, yay! I trust her for now, and let's go. So I think it's eagerly anticipated to have that. It's going to be a big day when we get Salesforce DevOps in the menu for the admin menu. So imagine someday you're going to be able to go up to the search menu, put in DevOps in the admin interface, and you're going to hit Salesforce. So it's going to be fantastic for that reason. It's going to increase awareness, and I think people will start thinking about not just release management, hopefully, but organizational flow and the things that DevOps is all about. So that was great. I think I'm really looking forward to seeing how the Salesforce DevOps Center project progresses. So after that, I had the chance to basically tour the show floor. So, you know, I've been doing this for a while. I was recalling today that my very first computer conference was a West Coast Computer Fair in the early 1980s in San Francisco. So it's been, I've been doing it for a while, and I actually, as a journalist, covered Oracle as a, went to their shows and did stuff like that in the 90s. And it's funny how, a lot of it's all the same. There's always too much marketing and not enough learning, in my view. So that's always kind of disappointing for me, but it obviously works for Salesforce to have these kind of events where we get more things and a lot of enthusiasm, but sometimes there's not always an idea about how to put it all together. So although the events, I think, on a human level is fantastic, at the press conference the day before on Tuesday, Parker Harris made a point of saying that this was the only live event from a major software vendor for a developer conference, and that's true that both Apple and Google have elected to have online-only conferences, and let's hope that this event was not, a COVID event, and I kind of think it isn't, and it won't be. I think they're back. So this kind of event, it was a full-fledged, multi-thousand person conference place thrumming with people, shoulder-to-shoulder kind of experience that you would expect for a Salesforce Dreamforce type conference. So it definitely delivered on that end. Now, and like I said, on the human angle, it's great to meet people and to have those occasions, to have that human connection, and the business connection is good for that. But I think just the caution is, if you're going there to learn things and to figure out how to do things that come back, they're not as useful, let's say, as maybe the Dreamin' events that are more focused on actual learning. So that's my perpetual curmudgeon complaint about a conference like this. But it was great to see the people there, and I do congratulate Salesforce on pulling off a successful event. Okay, that's it, gang. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe on the old video or podcast reader. And we'll see you next time from Salesforce DevOps here in Oakland, California. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this edition of the Keenan Vision Podcast. Please come visit SalesforceDevOps.net website and sign up for email notifications of significant updates. Thanks to 10 Ton Chicken for the music, which is available on iTunes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review about how we did on this podcast.